Welcome to the 3D Noise Flowfield in Unity tutorial by PurePlay. My name is Peter and I will teach you in this tutorial all about creating an awesome audio visualization system in C#. I put a lot of effort into creating the most interesting, unique, fun and comprehensive courses. Yes, the tutorials are free, but I could really use the support from you. Knowledge is power, so if the contents of this tutorial helps you improving your skills, then consider supporting me monthly as a patron on my Patreon. As a huge thanks, you get access to the library of all the source files and extra content. If you are not in a position to contribute financially, you can help me spread the word by sharing this video on your social media. Thanks in advance and I hope you enjoy this new tutorial series. Special thanks to Andrew Laboy, Devin and Fegter. Start a new project in Unity. For this course we will be using an open source noise generation library called FastNoise. You can download the fastnoise.cs file at the GitHub page of Jordan Peck. The link is in the description. Add the file fastnoise.cs to the project and you're good to go. The FastNoise library contains different types of noise in 2, 3 and 4 dimensions. We are using this to calculate 3-dimensional simplex noise for our Flowfield directions. If you would like more information on noise, you can watch the introduction I created on noise as part of the previous tutorial series. So we are going to create a Flowfield, and for this we need to create a grid of directions. Later on we will spawn objects inside of the grid. The directions in the grid will tell the objects in which direction it applies a force in movement. Let's create a new C# script and we're going to call this the Noise Flowfield. Now let's add the Noise Flowfield script to an empty game object. So click on an empty space in the hierarchy and create an empty game object. And we're going to call this a Noise Flowfield. Now let's add the Noise Flowfield script to the game object and let's open up the Noise Flowfield script. In this first part we will create a grid of directions based on simplex noise and show them in the scene view through gizmos lines. The first thing we require in our script is to make a reference to the FastNoise library. So let's type FastNoise and we're going to call this FastNoise. Now we want to create a 3-dimensional grid, and for this we need a vector to specify the size in its x, y and z direction. So let's add a public vector3, and instead of using the vector3 we're going to use the vector3 integer and we'll call this grid size. Now the next thing we need is to have a float value that specifies the resolution of the noise that is applied to the grid. So let's add a public float and we'll call this increment. Now we also want the noise in the grid to change over time, and for this we will create 2 more vectors and call them offset and offset speed. So let's create a public vector3 and we'll call this offset, and the other one we'll call offset speed. We will now visualize the directional noise in the inspector using gizmos. So let's create a private void onDrawGizmos. To use the FastNoise library we first need to instantiate it. So we're going to say that FastNoise is a new FastNoise. Let's now create our 3-dimensional grid, and to do this we can do 3 different for loops inside of each other. So the first for loop is going to be for the x-axis. So we're going to say for, and we'll say int x is equal to 0 if x is less than the grid size dot x. Then we want to increase the x. Now inside this for loop we can do another for loop for the y-axis. So for int y is 0, y is less than the grid size dot y, y plus plus. And inside of this for loop we'll do another one for the z values. So we'll say integer z is 0, z is less than the grid size dot z, z plus plus. Now we need to apply the increment to the 3 different axes of the grid. And to create this we're going to create a temporary float of x, y and z outside of its corresponding for loops. So let's say outside of the first for loop we're going to create a temporary float, and we'll call this the x of, and it's going to be 0. Now outside of the while for loop we'll do the same. We'll say float y of is going to be 0. And outside of the z for loop we're going to say float z of is going to be 0. Now inside each of the for loops we're going to increment the x of, y of and z of by the increment. So for the most inner one we're going to say that the z of plus is the increment. Now outside of the z but inside of the y for loop we're going to say that y of plus is the increment as well. And outside of the y for loop but inside of the x for loop we're going to say that x of plus is the increment. Now inside of the z for loop we're going to do our calculations of the noise. Let's create a float and we'll call this noise. And noise is going to be, and we're getting here the fast noise, and we'll use the get simplex. And this requires either a float 2, float 3 or float 4, depending on how many dimensions you want to calculate the noise. And we're going to use just 3 dimensions. Now for the x we're going to get the x of plus the offset in its x. Now for the y we'll get the y of plus the offset in its y. And for the z we're going to get the z of plus the offset in its z. Now the get simplex returns a value between -1 and 1, and we want to have only positive numbers. So we're going to add 1 to this number, so now the output value will be between 0 and 2. Now let's first visualize the output of the noise. And we can do this by creating some cubes with gizmos, and we'll set the opacity based on the noise. So let's create a gizmos.color, and we're going to say that it's going to be a new color, and we'll set this to 111, so this will be white. And for the opacity we'll set the noise value, but the noise value is between 0 and 2, and we want it to be between 0 and 1 for a color values, so we'll multiply this by 0.5. Now let's set all the positions of the cubes, so we're going to create a new vector 3 and we'll call this pos, and the position will be a new vector 3, and that position will be based on the x, y and z of the for loop plus its transform dot position. Let's also create a vector 3 for the size of the cube, so we'll say vector 3 size, and that is going to be a new vector 3, and we'll say 111. Now we actually need to show the cubes, so we'll say gizmos dot draw cube, and for this we need to have its position, so we'll say pos, and for the size we'll use size. Now let's save this script and go back to Unity. Now back in Unity you don't see anything yet because we still have to set the grid size. Now watch out by setting these numbers, because if you set them too high you will crash your computer. So I'm going to set this to a grid of 50 by 50 and 1. So we'll get a 2-dimensional grid. We can increase the Z value as well, but because we're using the opacity these numbers will be multiplied, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I'll keep this at 1. Now we can increase the increment, and then we can see some changes. Now let me turn off this so we can see the changes a little bit more, and we can see here our noise applied. And we can of course change the offset in its X, Y and in its Z value. Now what we're going to do is for each of these cubes in the grid we're going to return a direction instead of a color. So let's go back to the script. Let's create a new line and we're going to convert this noise into a direction. So let's create a vector 3 and we're going to call this the noise direction. And that is going to be a new vector 3. Now to convert our float value into a direction we can multiply our value by pi. And we know that 2 pi is an entire circle. And the noise value is right now between 0 and 2. So that's very handy. And we'll get the cosinus or the sinus from this equation. So for the x, we're going to say mathf dot cosinus. And we want to get the cosinus of noise multiplied by mathf dot pi. Now for the y-axis, we're not going to use the cosinus, but we're going to use the sinus. And we'll get the sinus from the noise multiplied by mathf dot pi. And for the z value, we're going to get the cosinus again. So we'll say mathf dot cosinus of noise multiplied by mathf dot pi. Now close this one off, semicolon. Now let's change the color to just color.white. And we don't need the size anymore because we're going to draw a line. But what we do need is to know the end position. So we're going to say vector3 and we'll call this end pos. And the end pos is going to be its current position plus the noise direction. So we're going to say pos plus the, and we need to normalize this vector, so we'll say vector3 dot normalize the noise direction. Now instead of the cube, we're going to draw a line. So we'll say gizmos dot draw line, and here it requires a vector3 from and a 2. So we'll get the pos and the end pos. Now let's save the script and go back to Unity. Now back in Unity, you'll see that we have some lines with all kinds of directions instead of the cubes. So let me increase this screen a little bit more. And you can see that they're going into any direction. So let's change the grid size to 20 by 20 by 20. And then we've got a 3D view of all of our directions. It's a little bit hard to see with all of these different lines here, so let me go back to the script a little bit. Let's change the gizmo color, and we can actually change the gizmo color to the direction, because the direction is actually just a vector. So let's say that this is going to be a new color. So we'll get the noise direction dot normalized dot its x, and we'll get the noise direction dot normalized dot its y, and we'll get the noise direction dot normalized dot its z value. And for the opacity, we'll set it to 0.4, so it's a bit transparent. Now to make the directions even more clear, we can also draw a sphere at the end pos. So let's say gizmos dot draw sphere, and we want to spawn this at the end pos with a radius of 0.1. Now let's save this script and go back to Unity. Okay, this works, but I don't really like the result of this, so let's change it actually to 1f for the opacity. That's better. So now we can see all of these directions. It's a little bit slow already because we've just drawn 20 by 20 by 20 lines and spheres, and Unity doesn't really like that. But we can change the increment and see this shifted in 3D. So I've turned off the spheres eventually because it's very slow in Unity. But what we're going to do in the next part is we're going to instantiate objects that are going through this field, and based on their position they are going to get the direction of this direction vector, and they will be applied to the force of these. So they will float around in this field of directions. So, and based on, of course, the increment of the field, the directions will be different. And we can change the directions over time as well, so the directions will always change. So thank you for following this first part of the tutorial. The source files of this part are available for download at my Patreon. If you want to stay updated with new released parts, subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on. Happy coding!